All right, go ahead.
Let's
What
see.
makes being in a relationship while going through a divorce difficult to you?
In which way? Because there's so many.
All
When it
right, so
comes to like,
start with
let's
any.
start with like kids, if you have kids,
All right, go with that.
and then how they have to bounce back and forth from homes. How that makes it hard, like meeting someone new, and they're so used to like being with or even seeing their mom and their dad, and now here comes a new person, and they're like, oh my God, it's new. For them, like accepting it.
Well, yeah, there's an adjustment period for kids
Yes.
as far as like slowly introducing somebody and blah blah blah, and them getting used to that person. But then what happens if your kids reject that person?
There's not much that you could do. You just have to continue to just, I guess, show them love and like that you're like healthy. You can't like push back or like reject them. They're still little, so they have to like understand that. They're gonna naturally push away if that's like, for instance, like
I'm gonna have to
me.
boost your voice all the way up.
Me being like a mom, obviously I'm nurturing. So me having a kid come around me that already has a mom, that's an active mom that they're used to.
Talk down into the mic.
You're so annoying.
You're like this, and it
That,
rejects everything from the sides.
baby, that's going to be hard for me.
Or you have to figure it out.
Because I talk like this all the time.
Yeah. No,
Then I'm going to have to be still. I feel like a robot.
no, you just talk like this. So see how I'm looking at you, but my mouth
to
is
be like
split
this all the
away?
time.
Yes.
No. All right, whatever. That's going to be, you're right. That's going to be definitely an adjustment for me. But even when I am talking to the mic, I feel like it's still low.
That's because your voice. I have more bass in my voice, so my voice is gonna be naturally louder. Yours is softer, so that means you're gonna
So
have to
you
be
better
closer
boost mine up now. What's that little thing? What is this for?
to turn it up.
All right, so you better
No,
turn it.
we have to stay the same level. That way, if I talk too loud, it doesn't go past a certain point.
Well, mine's is never going to hit there unless if I'm laughing.
Well, then you better put your lips on the mic.
Okay, so where were we at?
Kids getting used to the new person. What happens if they reject them?
Like me. Like if someone rejects me.
No, the kids rejecting the new
The
person.
new spouse or partner.
Yeah.
I feel like the partner just has to continue to keep. It's not really their job, for at least for me, this is my opinion. It's not their job to like fulfill the kids. The kids already have their mom and their dad. It's just either you make them more comfortable or you just kind of stay neutral. Because I don't think that you're in their life. I mean, what is it? What can I give to a child that already has a mom and a dad? So when it becomes a step parent, all you're doing is either stepping up or stepping down. Then you have to know when you do that.
So what happens when it creates like that imbalance in the household?
In what way? For instance, like give me an example, like what could happen?
Okay, let's say the two people live together and the parent of the child is not home, but the partner is, and the child is misbehaving because they don't care what the partner says.
So now it comes into like disciplining, basically.
Okay, so then I don't know. I feel like that introduces a gray area of where like,
How do you handle that?
yeah, because the new partner is disciplining a child that's technically not theirs, and then it's gonna create like almost like a chaos because obviously the child is gonna report that back to the real father or mother of whoever that child is, and it's gonna cause more problems.
Depending on the communication between those four people. So like both moms, depending on how that relationship is, or both fathers, depending on how relationship that is. I feel like it's important if there is no communication. So for instance, in my life, if there's no communication with you and the person, then I have to make sure that the balance becomes between me and him. So he has to have that understanding, like, okay, you can't just all of a sudden just go with that kid said because you don't know what happened. So like there has to be a balance somewhere somehow.
I get what you're saying. What you're almost saying, like who's telling the truth and who's lying.
Exactly.
But it's not about that. It's about handling the situation and how it can cause potential problems between you and the partner.
Well, that just depends how strong the relationship is.
Okay, so let's say the relationship is strong.
But the kids are still giving that.
They're giving information back to the, I don't know what you want to call it.
The step or the real.
No, the real person.
Okay, the real parent.
Yeah, whatever.
Their dad.
They're giving
Their mom.
they're giving information back to the real parent
Okay.
about how they're being disciplined by the new partner.
So then now.
So that's going to bring drama to you. It's not about who's telling the truth and who's lying.
No, it just depends on how those two individuals. So when it comes in, we're talking about me and you. So it comes into how are me and you handling it. So for instance, if someone comes to me and they say, oh, well, this happened. Well, you're not in my household. You don't run it. You run over there. This is how we handle stuff. So if we don't allow it to affect us, I feel like that's all that matters. If I know and I trust you and I go wherever it is, to the store, to work, out of town, and my kids are with you, I'm already trusting you first. So if you have to discipline them the way that you have to discipline them and they don't like it, it is what it is. They're just going to have to adjust. Or we sit down and we have technically a meeting because they're not babies, to where they have to understand at the end of the day you have to respect. If that's the case, then you could take care of yourself and you don't need someone to watch you. That's how I feel.
I get what you're saying, but
Now what?
and that's just, I don't know. It's an outside perspective of like,
How
okay,
would you handle
that's
that?
how me and you are gonna handle it. Now you have to understand that you're getting heat from the ex partner or whatever. So how are you gonna handle it? Because that's something that you handle. That's not something that's coming towards me.
So how would I handle your ex approaching me or my ex approaching
Either
me?
one, because they don't like how the discipline is being handled.
Then that's something that they have to understand, that they don't rule our household. So if you don't like the way that we're disciplining, that's a personal problem. This is how I do it in my household. Now, if you want, we can sit down and come to an agreement, but you have to still understand, regardless, even in a relationship, me and you can have a child right now, and I can still disagree with how you parent that kid. I can parent completely different. I could be a person who's like, I'm whipping ass, and you could be like, no, we're time out.
You're right, but that's between me and you.
So now
There's
it's the
one
outside.
between me and you, and then there's one from the outside.
Exactly.
On both sides.
So what? I don't care. That's so bad.
It's not.
But I
It's
don't.
not. It's not about caring or not
It's
caring.
how do I handle it, right?
Hold on. That's how I'm gonna sing the clips. Anyway, I don't know. I guess it's just it's a lot of variables on both sides.
So how would you handle
Because
it?
you could say you don't care, but
I do.
it's gonna weigh on you at the end of the day. How would I handle it?
Yeah.
If you were disciplining my child and my ex partner was not agreeing with it, I mean, it goes along the lines of what you said, really, because it's not that I don't care, because I have to respect it, because I have to look at the other side of the coin. What happens if she's being disciplined by her partner and I don't agree with it?
But then it comes to a sense of disciplining and structure is very important. So my thing is, let's get to the bottom of what is that child doing to be disciplined? Because at the end of the day, I don't think, especially for instance, me, I have kids of my own. So I'm never going to mistreat someone else's kids because I know how I want my kids to be treated. Now, if it's a partner who doesn't have kids and they've never had children, don't come at me and tell me how I'm disciplining anybody because you don't know.
Well, yeah, that's the obvious, but it's like you said, everybody parents different.
Yeah, so it all depends on why is this kid being disciplined. Okay, well, the kid is going to run back and be like, oh, well, Donnie yelled at me. My question is, why?
Yeah, well, I agree with you on that.
So-
There's proper discipline.
Exactly.
There has to be a reason behind it, and then there has to be like the discipline has to equal what the action was. You can't just be like, oh, you didn't clean your room, I'm whooping that ass. Like that's not how it works.
Anymore.
Yeah, those days are over with.
We're not doing that. We're just taking away what you don't like.
Yeah.
Or go to your room.
All right. So that's kids. What else makes being in a relationship while going through divorce complicated? I guess I'll take this one. I would say, based on our situation, I would say time management. Due to the fact that we both work, we both have kids, and even though our situations are different because of, what we're going through or whatever, there's still a balance that has to play out. And that I find that right now it's easy because my situation, but I can see your situation and I feel for your situation because we're at that stage where we want to be together all the time. But you still have responsibilities as a mother to spend time with your kids, even though you technically don't want to be in that household because you're not. It's not that you're uncomfortable. It's just
Not
a
where I want
situation.
to
Yeah,
be.
it's not a situation that you want to be in anymore. So I think that's like a real rough situation, and eventually I'll get to where you're at, where I have to find that balance myself, and it's just, I don't know. It's something that has to be considered very heavily because time is something that you can't get back.
Yeah, and it's almost like you have to be selfless because you can't put yourself first. And when you start to put yourself first, then you start to look like you're selfish. It doesn't matter which way you put it. If I put me first and I do what I want, so let's just say, for instance, I'm like, okay, obviously you're going to want to spend time with me, but I'm like, all right, well, I have to put my kids first because they miss me, and then work. It's just, I'm being pulled from every direction. And it's like, it doesn't matter what I do. I still feel like I'm not fulfilling anybody.
That sounds like an internal battle because I would never put you in a situation where I'm like, hey, like I need to see you, and you're like, oh, I gotta go do this with my kids. And I'm like, cool, go ahead, do it. Like I understand.
That's
Like
what people go through.
I'm not gonna get mad about it. I understand certain people go through it, but I'm not gonna get mad about it because I have a kid and I understand. I can see if it was somebody who was single and didn't have a kid, that would probably be very difficult for them to understand.
Yeah, that one's hard. That one's kind of touchy. I can't stand you. Whatever. I guess it is what it is. Balancing time is important
It is.
until we live together.
Yeah.
Or anyone.
Yeah.
Or how do you do it? Maybe making a schedule would probably be a good idea. But
Yeah, but both people have to be scheduled people to where like you follow it to a T. One person can't be like super schedule involved and the other person's just winging everything on a regular basis. Because me, I wing everything. I can't have a schedule that's like 8 o'clock I gotta do this and 7 o'clock I gotta do this. Like I can't do that.
me neither.
I just know what I have to do and it has to get done within a certain time frame. Don't tell me the exact time that I have to do it.
No, and one of us needs to be like that because I'm like that too. I'm so like spontaneous. I'm gonna be like, all right, well, I know I have to do this today, but don't give me a time frame to do it. The only time I know my time frame is clock in and clock out of work.
Yeah, but I do everything in a timely manner just because of the whole military thing. Like if I got to be somewhere at 7 o'clock, I'm gonna be there at 6:30 or
5:15.
no, not 5:15. I'm always gonna do everything in a timely manner just because that's how my mind operates.
So how would you say I am? Scatterbrain.
Pretty much.
That's fucked up.
That's the truth.
That's not nice.
It is the truth.
No, I don't want nobody telling me what to do. But I guess whatever.
It's not nobody telling what you do. If you have a schedule and you have things that you have to do, like yesterday, we had like 40 things to do, and it turned out to only be 3, but it felt like everything was on a time crunch.
Yeah, I don't like that.
That's life.
That's why one of us have to have a schedule. Since you have this whole military background, you'll be the schedule, and you let me know prior. Hey, babe, tomorrow we have 4 things to do. We're gonna start at 7 o'clock in the morning, and then boom.
You're still going. stay awake, stay up late, and do all these other things that's just gonna negate
Whatever.
the whole
Nope.
situation.
We're not doing that right
All
now.
right,
All right. What else?
that's on you now.
So we talked about the kids and then time management. How about not living together? Us not living together and like, I don't know, I guess you being able to actually, like, do I actually want to live with her? Because I feel like when you don't live with someone, it's easy to know how they are outside. So like people have their routine. Like for instance, I'm super like organized and like things certain way. So like I would never know how you really are until we live together.
True. That's why they call it the honeymoon phase.
So how is that? How do we balance that? Like how do we deal with that now?
It's an adjustment period. It's two people getting used to how each individual operates to like meet in the middle.
Yeah,
Like the laundry thing when you help me with my laundry. I don't like to fold clothes. I hate it. I'll hang everything on a hanger before I fold those clothes. It's not gonna happen. But and you hate to wash, so I'll wash and you fold.
okay, that's fair. But what about like other things like taking off your shoes or like throwing your socks? Like you're in a comfort zone right now because you have your own space. So you don't have to worry about like when to do things, how to do things. If like you're good, like making your bed, like you don't have rules. You're like free. So like now you're free. So you're creating a new habit within yourself.
It's not a habit because I understand it. I'm in a space that I'm not used to. Once I have a space, when I have my own space, I respect my space. It's not the fact that I don't respect my parents' house, but it's something about having your own space to where like you like how you like everything. I like things a certain way too.
Okay.
So like my game room always clean.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it was clean. I
Oh,
cleaned it.
okay.
Somebody else wasn't gonna come in there and clean it. And then there was other things that I would do. Like if the floor was dirty, I would mop.
You would.
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
I just did certain things. I'm not gonna walk past something and see that it's dirty and not do it. Like if there's a bunch of dishes in the sink and I walk past it twice or three times and I'm just tired of seeing it, I'm gonna do them. And I'm not gonna be like, hey, how come you didn't do this? No, like whatever. Who cares? This is ours. All of it's ours. There's no you do this and I do that.
It's pick up where I fell off or vice
Yeah,
versa. Okay, makes sense.
but there's an understanding. I know you, like I said with the laundry thing, I know you don't like to do the laundry and I don't like to fold the laundry. So we understand that about each other. That's a nonverbal thing that we just do.
Okay, so us not living together, what about the whole like sleeping matter? Like us not basically being in bed together.
That's like an area where like you have to be secure. Like me and you are secure in our relationship. We understand each other. Everything's very open and we communicate about everything. So like I've had this conversation with people, well not people, one person. And I was just like, oh, and they were like, oh, does she still live with her man? Da, da, da. And I was like, yeah, she does. And like, dude was like, you're crazy. He was like, you trust that? And I was like, yeah, bro. Like, you don't understand it. Like, the relationship that we have is so open to like, there's certain things that we communicate to each other to where there's no gray area about what's going on.
I think you're also secured because I talk to you in the house and you know different things that people don't know.
I agree with that.
So I think that like secures you in a different way. But do you ever question it when I am home and you don't know?
No.
That's good. Okay. I guess.
I mean, that's another thing where like we both have a similar.
Background?
Yeah, let's go with that. We'll call it a background.
A background.
And understanding of how people move and operate in life. And that's why like we are the way we are. So like how we share locations and we can see each other's phone and grab each other's phone whenever we want, and like there's no, I'm not running to the bathroom to check my phone, or you're not doing that. Like it's, we're just very open about it.
Yeah, I think we have been in a relationship where we know what we want and what we don't want. And kind of like,
We've seen all the shady stuff that happens. We've done all the shady
I was
stuff that
about to say, we
happens.
did see, we are the shady
We've done
people.
it, so we know.
That's the part. All right. What else?
Let's go with communication.
Go. Since you want to talk about it.
How important is communication in this particular situation? If you had to rate it on a scale from 1 to 10, and why?
In what way? Because when we communicate when we're together or when we're away.
All of it. An overall rating of why is it important.
So, top 10,
No, just rate it 1 through 10, and then why.
but 10 is max.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1,000.
Oh my
Of
God.
course. I'm going to say that 10, of course. Yes, it's a super important. Why? Because we don't live together. We're going to question each other. Like, it's just all around. Like, when I'm not around you, I think it's important to always reassure each other, validate each other's feelings. Like, I don't know. That's just number one. Together and not together. Like living together, not living together. Being with each other physically, not being with each other. Like it's just super important. And people who communicate, I feel like people that have been together for 20 plus years, 40 years, they still don't know how to communicate. And I feel like if you can get that down pack first before anything else, your relationship is going to forever last because you're going to be able to understand each other in a way that is important when you don't have the intimacy or you don't have, maybe, I don't know, something happens to where I have to be in a different location for 3 weeks. All right, well, now you don't have that physical part of me that I could validate how much or show you how much I love you or do things or be around you. But when I communicate with you, we have that understanding.
I agree.
What about you?
I would agree. It's a 10. It's very important to have communication in this particular situation because we don't live together and there's so many factors that come into play of like we don't come home to each other. You're at work, I'm at work. Like we do so many things throughout the day to where like there could be, I don't want to call them mistakes, but we'll call it whatever. We'll say errors within the relationship that cause problems.
Mm-hmm.
But it's important to have, like, you have to establish trust and being honest and like very open to your own personal flaws. You have to,
Self growth.
yeah, you have to and you have to understand the other person, like what they like and what they don't like. So like let's say you know I'm off today and you're working and I go to, I don't know, let's say the gym because that's an extended time.
Mm-hmm.
If you, I know for a fact, you personally, if you look at my location and you're like, how come you didn't tell me to go to the gym? I know for a fact that I should have told you that I'm going to the gym because you're gonna wonder why I didn't tell you because I'm somewhere else for an extended period of time,
Yeah, and I could have
and that
joined
just
you.
adds a comfortable factor to your mind, knowing that I'm telling you where I'm going, even though you can see it. It just adds that comfortable factor to it.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like that's important for sure. Oh, so it's important to tell each other where I'm going.
I mean, it depends. Like last night. I went to the gas station to grab snacks. Like, I'm not gonna tell you, oh, babe, I'm rolling out of bed to go grab a snack real quick. Not even a mile down the road. Like,
And you're only going to be 7 minutes.
yeah, I'm not gonna tell you that.
Okay.
That's irrelevant. But if, like I said, it's places that are like extended periods of time or emergency purpose.
Okay.
You get a flat tire, you let me know. I get into a car accident or something, I let you know. Like, there's different levels to it.
I agree.
But that comes down to knowing your person.
So now that we're on communication, what about arguing? How do we deal with that, or how would anyone deal with arguing?
It depends on both people. Like, for me, I think I've come to this place in my life where I've seen so many people die, and like, I don't care to sit there and argue. I know what I want and what I don't want. So I'm not going to sit there with you and waste time arguing, knowing that I want you in my life and I love you, and this whole argument is irrelevant. Yeah, I understand that it's important to talk everything out and understand why the argument happened, but at the same time, if we're doing this back and forth, and it's not really getting anywhere in my mind, because at the end of the day, you're still going to be here. I'm not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. So why are we having this little small argument about something so minor? For what? But I know how you are. Like,
what does that mean?
I know how you are. You want to know everything. You want to disclose everything. You want to debate everything. Like, everything has to be a conversation. I don't need all of that.
At least you know.
It's unnecessary for me because I feel like I'm wasting energy on something that's not putting time into growth.
So then that goes into validating or understanding. You understand, but how do I know you understand that? So that goes into communicating.
That goes into you understanding me, knowing who I am.
So
and you know why I'm not having this conversation.
So meeting in the middle.
Yeah, there's a balance.
Okay, fair. Next.
We're going to end this one here. And we'll go to a different topic.
When I was at 11...